that'll be used in prosecutions against ICE agents. That's the sort of thing that can go to an impressionable head. Likewise, you have dozens of Democrats falsely accusing ICE of abducting children and using them as bait. Minnesota Senator Tina Smith calling that pure evil. Again, it's the sort of thing that radicalizes.
This week is National School Choice Week. Chris Woodward spoke to one organization that thinks there is a lot to celebrate.
Erica Donalds, chair of Education Opportunity at America First Policy Institute, said President Trump is the school choice president.
He ran on expanding school choice for families in the United States, and thanks to the One Big Beautiful Bill, the first ever federal tax credit scholarship was passed, which allows donors to get a dollar-for-dollar tax credit for their donations to organizations that turn around and use that money for private school tuition, tutoring, homeschool expenses, dual enrollment, and other special services so that families have education options and enrichment opportunities for their children.
School choice has its critics. A concern often used by opponents is that school choice undermines public education and leaves fewer resources for the most vulnerable students. Donald said that we have had a government monopoly in education for the last 100 years, and it has not served American families.
We know that only 1 in 3 students in America can read or do math on grade level. However, where there is school choice in the form of charter schools, for example, students are outperforming their district counterparts because you have that free market competition and accountability to parents who can move to a different school if they're not satisfied with their students' performance. So we need more free market Americanism, if you will, in the education space to give greater innovation, access, and accountability.
I'm Chris Woodward.
And Federal Reserve officials are expected to keep their short-term interest rate unchanged today after 3 cuts last year. More news online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app for your Apple or Android device. I'm Rusty P.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Wildmon, president of American Family Association and American Family Radio. Hey, the tours we've got planned in 2026 are going to be fantastic. They're historical, spiritual, heritage tours. For the information all about them, the D.C., the Williamsburg, the Boston tours, go to wildmongroup.com, WILDMON group.com, and we hope to see you on one of our 2026 spiritual heritage tours.
Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildmon, president of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Thanks for listening to AFR. Is my headset working okay, Brent? Okay. Asking Brent Creeley, our producer, because I put my headset on different today.
Yeah.
Usually I have the microphone attached to the left side because I'm a lefty. You know what I'm saying?
It just flips. We'll get you fixed out. So
right.
So you didn't see me.
That's okay.
I came in there and I came in here before the show and just to see if you would realize.
Yeah, I'm gonna have it changed. I'm gonna have it changed over. You guys talking about? By the way, Ed Vitagliano. Good morning, Ed.
Hey, good morning,
Wesley.
Good morning.
Fred, don't talk amongst yourselves.
Well, all right. So Fred didn't actually get introduced because the microphone, Tim's microphone, was off. Good morning to you, Fred.
I think I'm back.
Good morning.
It didn't take long. It would have taken me a long time, but Brent Creeley, our producer, came over here,
saved the day,
Mr. Engineer, and flipped it around. All right, welcome to the program, everybody. Thanks for listening to AFR. As like I said, Ed, Wesley, and Fred. If you listen to this show, you know all the voices. On a Wednesday, January the 28th, 2026. A lot of news to talk about. The weather from the storm still continues to play a major role.
It sure is. And this may be hard to believe. Mississippi and Tennessee, each state still has more than 100,000 people without power. Some of them are in our building here. Just talking to...
J.J. Jasper.
J.J. Jasper, Jonathan, who's head our radio network. These people are still without power. Listen, there are people that are still suffering, and they're not sure. I mean, we've had ice storms here in this part of the world before when people were without power for 2-3 weeks. But if you look at the pictures coming out of places like Oxford, Mississippi, you look at, there is Tippah County, which is just kind of to the north of where we are. And then in Nashville, Franklin area, they got hit very badly, and they're still suffering from it. And we're starting to get some of the stories of the tragedies, lives lost, and in Bonham, Texas, which is up near the Oklahoma state line. Tragic story. I was on yesterday on Exploring the Word with Brother Bert and Alex, and telling them about this because they have a prayer time on Tuesdays. But a mom lost 3 sons. You stop and think about this. 3 sons, 6-year-old, 8-year-old, and 9-year-old. And what they did is what boys, they're all boys, they saw a pond with ice on it.
Yeah.
Let's go play. And you have to know something about ice.
Right.
You know, it's an old saying, if the ice is dark, don't go on it.
Right.
And these precious little boys, they just wanted to go out and they just wanted to play, got on the ice, broke through. Their mom tried to go and rescue them, but was not able to get there in time. And, you can imagine how cold the water was. And when really cold water, you can hardly move yourself.
Right.
That's right.
But be praying for this dear soul. The mom's name is Cheyenne Hageman. Cheyenne Hageman. And we have an Associated Press story on this on our site, afn.net. But be praying for that family. There are now dozens of people who have lost their lives because of this. So be in much prayer. And then there was a new element to this storm this morning. Just south of Memphis, there's an Interstate 55 that goes into Memphis from the south. There's Interstate 22 that kind of connects Memphis and Birmingham. Actually goes through our home base here in Tupelo. And what happened overnight, there was what's called ice fog incident. So if you can imagine, if you've ever experienced thick fog, add ice to that. The fog rolls in and it freezes immediately in the really cold temperatures we had last night. So you had, transport trucks drive all night. You had incidents of that, no reports of death. But they were advising people, when I came in this morning quite early, they were advising people, if you're headed towards Memphis on these interstates, do not. Stop right now, because there's no control over your vehicle.
Yeah.
When you hit that ice, add to it, you can't see very far in front of you, and it's just a disaster waiting to happen. So all of this is all part of this storm. And for those listeners that are on the East Coast, they're being warned about another system coming up the East Coast, and they say North Carolina, eastern North Carolina, could really be hit badly by this one.
That's where Alex and Frank live.
That's right.
Yeah. I've never, till this day, had never heard of ice fog. But now, talking to others from up north, they had heard of that. That's a weird thing where fog, when it touches the ground, turns to ice. I did want to comment, too, on the Texas story. I remember growing up and my parents warning this. This is a regular thing with young kids as they grow up. When weather starts to turn really cold and ice and water begins to freeze, I was always told by my parents, you do not go on. We had ponds around our house. You don't go on ponds unless you get permission. We got to check it out. And so Texas, they're not used to that kind of thing, and that complicated that. What a horrific tragedy for that family.
She lost all 3 of her little boys.
Yeah.
I can't. None of us can even. I can't imagine.
Your life feels like it's over at that point.
Oh yeah. What's her name? We'll pray for that lady for sure.
Cheyenne Hageman.
Bless her.
Yeah.
Well, and just because in some areas you're getting salt put out on the roads, or things seem to be thawing out in some cases, just be very careful, because you get going on the interstate at 75 miles an hour because it's safe, and then you come up on the bridge where, the tracks where the tires are going may be cleared out because of they've either put salt or there's been enough traffic.
Yeah.
But I've noted on either side of it, you still have just enough ice that if you're not paying attention, you could
Get sideways.
Yep.
I remember when I was a kid, I'm 62. I'm hanging on till March. I'm not even saying 62 and a half. I'm 62 until March. And then,
Until March,
Then
yeah.
the calendar will flip.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I remember as a child, I was about 13, 14. It would have been the winter of 75, 76, right in there. And we had some hard freezes across the country. I mean, and we were living in South Haven, Mississippi, which is just south of Memphis, and the lake completely froze over. It was a lake. And I remember the first time I ever ice skated.
Yeah.
And about the last time. I think I ice skated once since then, but had some ice skates that I don't know how we got them.
Yeah.
But went out and skated on a pond.
Yeah.
That was frozen, and I can see how if you don't, especially if you're inexperienced,
Right.
with you could fall in. I mean, we were.
Well, we have a creek behind the house, and my kids were back playing in it, and it's not but knee deep, but it fell through, and
really?
they got water in their boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
but
drown like
you drown,
that if you're in a lake.
Exactly, but they were just so amazed at frozen ice and bringing the icicles. Like for them, it was new. They weren't thinking about anything beyond it being like snow, like a snow day for them.
Well, what I was told growing up, Fred probably he from
Nova Scotia.
From Nova Scotia. But they say the part of the problem is not just the freezing water when you're immersed in it, but you look up and sometimes it's hard to tell where the hole is that you fell through, because you're looking up through ice, you see sunlight, and you lose sight of that hole.
Yeah.
And you can't reach it. It's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
We do have that story, by the way, on American Family News, AFN.net. If you didn't get the lady's name and you want to pray for that family, that story is posted there with the information from that.
Yeah, J.J. Jasper was telling us at devotion this morning here at our staff meeting that his family, like a lot of people Fred mentioned, 100,000 and in Tennessee and I'm sure other places, but don't have power for days. And it's been, as folks know, it's been frigid.
At night.
Frigid at night. So I don't know.
Some people don't have water. We've got a couple of staff members who not only don't have power,
right.
They don't have water. Sometimes their neighborhood might have a well, access, that's where they get their water, and the power's off, there's no pump.
You got to make sure Timmy's not in there too.
Timmy, from Lassie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he fell in the well how many times?
Usually once a month on
Lassie.
Yeah.
Lassie. Yeah. Lassie's barking.
Lassie 1, 2, and 3.
Lassie, if you could understand collie language,
right.
It was Lassie was saying, "Timmy again."
Right.
Yes.
Same well.
Yes. Timmy fell in the well again.
Yeah. We mentioned yesterday Ole Miss in Oxford. Classes are shut down until next week. We also have a Christian
Students are in mourning. By the way, that's what
Oh man, this is a Mississippi State fans.
There's a reckoning though. At some point, you got to play catch up. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
There's a Christian university close to us here,
right.
Blue Mountain Christian University. They are completely shut down. Our church here in Tupelo has taken 30 of the male students in. They're staying at the church until things get better there. But, it's just, once again, if you're aware of people having a tough time, reach your church or whatever, your deacons, whatever the case may be, be checking up on these dear folks, because if they're 5 days without power, without any heat, they're probably, senior citizens that need help.
Right.
So, those of us who have our power and have our water, there's an opportunity
Hot showers, man. That is, you don't realize you take some of those things for granted until you're going, do I take a ice cold shower?
No, not going to happen.
Or just use a little extra deodorant.
All right, you're listening to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Tim, Ed, Wesley, and Fred. Fred, what's the next story?
Well, we're kind of following up on the discussion we had yesterday about what's going on in Minnesota and Minneapolis in particular, and a change in stance by the Trump administration. President Trump once again saying in the last 24 hours, the plan is that his border czar, Tom Homan, who has been meeting with the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, and with the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz. And Tom Homan has been there, going to tell you a little bit about the results of the meeting. But President Trump, being very clear, he wants to de-escalate the situation in Minnesota. Cut 6.
So they had good crime numbers, believe it or not. And that's all working out. You know, we have Tom Homan there now. We put him in there. He's great. And they met with the governor, the mayor, everybody else, and we're going to de-escalate a little bit.
All right. So we were talking about this yesterday. The president saying de-escalating. How is the meeting going to go? Well, I can report for you a little bit about what Mayor Jacob Frey is saying about the meeting. In social media, and I just got this before coming in the studio, quoting Mayor Frey here, he says, I shared with Mr. Homan the serious negative impacts this operation has had on Minneapolis and surrounding communities, as well as the strain it has placed on our local police officers. I also made it clear that Minneapolis does not and will not enforce federal immigration laws. So there you have it. That's his take on this. Tom Homan has said the meetings were...
Are there any other federal laws that he said that Minneapolis and Minnesota would not enforce?
No.
Okay.
No.
I just want to make sure.
I read there's a statement that came out from Tom Homan after the meetings, and the quote was a productive starting point. And Tim Walz, the governor there, meeting with Tom Homan, he called it a productive conversation. And those are the statements coming out of the meetings. What that means, open for discussion.
Well, I think President Trump's in a tough spot politically here. So let's just start with his base, MAGA, okay? I think you are starting to see some people who are frustrated with the appearance of this, especially on social media and in the news media. I understand some people are howling at the mention of the media. The Trump administration's never going to get a fair shake from the legacy media. But you do have, the Oklahoma governor, others in the Republican Party and even in MAGA who don't like this with ICE going in to Minneapolis and the chaos that is ensuing. Sean Hannity.
We have that Hannity quote if you'd like.
Yeah, we can go to that here in just a second.
Okay.
So you got that part of the base that is not happy. And folks that are listening, I know who's causing all this. It's agitators, Antifa, all of those folks. I'm just saying you have on one side of MAGA people saying this is going to cause us to lose the midterms, and
optics.
then
from the optics.
From the optics.
Yeah.
And then you have others in the MAGA base who are saying, well, don't compromise on this. You got to continue to go forward and do the job you were elected to do. So President Trump, and we're not even talking about independence in terms of the midterms and Trump's having to kind of go through a minefield here with his own base.
All right. This is Sean Hannity. And if you've listened to him, he has been a major AAA supporter of President Trump. However, on his program on Monday evening, I think it was, he's very critical of ICE for going after what he refers to regular, non-criminal illegals. Cut 3.
Now, is ICE perfect? Can they do a better job? They can. Do I think that, some of the optics at times, do I think that going into Home Depots and arresting people there is a good idea? I don't. I don't think that people that if you're working at a place, you're not the immediate problem. Eventually, we'll have to deal with those people that didn't respect our laws, borders, and sovereignty. There's got to be a program where people get to come forward. I think they should then be given transportation home. They can get a check for, $2,000, and they can apply to come back in the country legally. We can vet them. We can do a health check on them. and make sure they won't be a financial burden on the American people. I think that'd be a more responsible, reasonable way.
All right, so that's how he is dividing the sandwich.
Yeah.
Well, that was Trump's position from the very beginning when he went there, right? He's trying to round up.
What John Hannity's saying is nothing new,
right?
Except he's saying, John Hannity's saying this looks bad for us and we need to stop it. He's telling ICE how to do their job, basically, that they're doing it wrong. Don't go into Home Depot and arrest somebody. Listen, if you're going to, and I'm not saying you don't need to consider optics, okay? Don't get me wrong, because this is a very complicated, I mean, some would say, no, it's not, but it is a very complicated issue if you put this in the political spectrum or prism or whatever you want to say it, or box, okay? Law and order, this is not hard, it seems to me. ICE was created many, many years ago to enforce federal immigration law. And they've been successful for the most part and not had any problems for the most part. But in this
cities.
In this case, you have people who are, in the case of the man who was shot and killed, he was armed. He was armed with a gun. I don't know why he had a gun, but he had a gun. Was it loaded?
Yeah.
And he went to this, went to confront ICE.
Yep.
And what his intentions were with the gun, I don't know. He did have a legal right to carry it. But back to my political point, but what Sean Hannity's talking about right there, the American people are soft, okay? and I'm not saying that. I'm talking about overall and generally. And we don't like to see anybody shot and killed, and by police or other law enforcement, because the optics, unless the person's having a shootout with the cops, the optics always look bad, because the cops, by necessity, have to be aggressive. They have to be tough people. They can't. You know where a bad guy is? Who's a drug trafficker or a human trafficker or a violent criminal, and you want to go get him? You don't go. ICE can't go up to the door and, hello. Yes, we're here to see. This is we're here from the federal government, and we're here to see if so and so's here. Can you help us out right here?
Yeah.
Can you do that? Is that how ICE? No, they have to bust down doors. Okay, they have to go chase people. They have to arrest people. They have to put them in. And now, if you don't want to do it by soft, I mean, if you don't want to do that kind of work, which somebody has to do, then just say so. And I think Minneapolis, the mayor and the governor are saying, we don't want that. We don't care if we are housing really bad people. Mm-hmm. Let them stay here. We'd rather have them stay here and do their drug dealing and do their whatever they're doing. We'd rather them stay here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and then have ICE here operating and scaring people. That's the message that I think, that clear message that the Minnesota governor and mayor are saying. Now, I don't know what you do exactly at this point, because you have things that are butting heads. You have federal immigration law and the people who are supposed to carry it out in a city where the mayor and the governor encourage the citizens to take physical actions to oppose these law enforcement agencies. In that case, you're asking for, that's dynamite, and something bad's going to happen, and it has happened. By bad, I mean two people are shot or have been killed. I'm not saying that the officers were wrong. I don't know yet. The investigations are playing out, but I'm just saying the immediate reaction by a majority of Americans, Republican and Democrat, is this looks bad. This is terrible. They need to de-escalate and they need to calm down. And ICE is looking bad. They're just roaming through the streets with, they got face masks on, they got guns ablaze, and they're going into Home Depot, says Sean Hannity. So if you're in ICE, you're going like, what are we even here for?
Yeah.
We're not now the president's backing off on his support of our mission, seemingly. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I would argue they did de-escalate the 14 times they asked Renee Good to get out of the car, don't stop, and she kept impeding. They tried 14 times. I'm exaggerating to make a point.
Yeah.
To get her to de-escalate.
That's right. Get out of the car, ma'am. She didn't get out.
No. And that was the second or third time they interacted with her.
What about him?
Throughout the day?
The man who was killed.
Yeah, he confronted. He crossed the street and was calling people, telling more people to come over here.
Well, and that's to your
right.
point, that Tim. That's when you say the American people are soft. I would say the same thing about people in Europe. Is when in Western cultures, when life is pretty good compared to most places around the world and most, centuries of human existence, we got it pretty good, and people don't want to rock the boat, and they go, okay, I understand that Renee Good was told to get out of the car, and she should have, and she shouldn't have been there, and I understand all that, but we just can't have.
But if it means running over an officer, so be it.
Well,
I'd rather have that happen. This is how they're thinking. I think I'd rather have the ICE officer ran over than Renee Good be shot.
I think what they're thinking is I don't want ICE there at all.
Okay.
I think that's when you say the American people are soft. I think that's what they're thinking. Let's whatever we have to do to make sure this whatever XYZ doesn't happen. Now, I think that's wrong.
Do you think this is the end of ICE?
I don't think it's the end of ICE now, but it'll be the end of ICE if the Democrats get control of all three.
They don't want ICE. They don't want borders.
They'll get rid of ICE. If there's a Democrat in the White House and they control Congress.
No more border agents.
I think that's what we'll see.
Yeah.
And that'll be the end of our country.
I do think they could do a little bit better job, they meaning the Republicans and the conservatives, on their press conferences by putting up the pictures of the people that they're going after to get with their run list.
I just didn't see the outrage when we have these women who've been raped and murdered by illegal aliens.
That's right.
The left doesn't say anything.
Yeah,
They're silent.
Biden could even say the girl's name of the Georgia.
Yeah, wouldn't even say it.
Yeah.
So they don't. I mean, they don't care.
That's right.
That these people.
That's why they lost the election.
Yeah, we'll be back momentarily.
Yeah.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildmon.
Jesus told us to beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are wolves. You'll know them by their fruits. Are grapes gathered from thorns or figs from thistles? Some years ago, the following item appeared in the newspaper. Quote, "The author of the disparaging book, The Passover Plot, which states that Christ's crucifixion was faked to fulfill Old Testament prophecies about the Messiah, now questions the whole authority of the Christian church. Now Dr. Hugh Schoenfield, in Those Incredible Christians, lashes out at what he calls vested beliefs and ecclesiastical rubbish. The 68-year-old Jewish scholar is allegedly without a religious creed of his own, believing in God as pure spirit." End of quote. Well, now, how about that? Here's a man who he himself admits doesn't know what he believes, telling millions of people that their belief is rubbish. Well, personally, I'm tired of folks like Dr. Schoenfield. I'm tired of these self-appointed authorities who don't know what is right except that everybody else is wrong. Yes, I'm tired. Tired of all the people who say God is dead who never knew he was alive. They live in their ivory palaces behind the sacred walls of education and spin out fancy theories about the nothingness of God. They never go down to the grave and watch a mother lay her child into the cold, hard earth. They never go to the hospital where the father of 4 young children is dying with cancer. They aren't ever called by the wife whose husband is an alcoholic. But they are sure after reading the textbooks that there is no God. I'm tired of the people who say the Bible is a lie who've never even read it. Our society is full of them, these intellectual illiterates who speak in pure ignorance of the subject matter. I'm tired of the people who say the church of today is irrelevant because we haven't been able to provide everybody with a mansion on the hill, a high income, a meaningful job, and the best social standing. I'm tired, yes. I'm tired of these fine people who say they can accept Christ as a great moral teacher, but not as the Son of God or the Savior of men. Little do these people realize the absurdity of their statement. A good moral teacher, but not God? If he wasn't the Son of God, indeed God himself, and did what he did and said what he said, then he was a blundering, blind, ignorant fool. Stupid, crazy. He was either who he said he was, or he was a crazy idiot. But you will have to accept one of those descriptions of him. God incarnate or stupid madman. Unfortunately, the New Testament just doesn't leave room for you to classify him as a great moral teacher, but not God himself. Yes, I'm tired of these know-it-alls who don't know what they believe. And let me add just one final word to them. They say they're searching for truth. If this be true, then maybe one day they will find what many of us have already found. You see, we have already found truth. We found it in a lowly Nazarene, apart from whom no truth can ever be found.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildmon, a production of the American Family Association.
Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way of everlasting. Psalm 139, 23 through 24.
American Family Radio. This is today's issues. Email your comments to comments@afr.net. Past broadcasts of today's issues are available for listening and viewing in the archive at afr.net. Now, back to more of today's issues.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to today's issues on American Family Radio. Tim, Ed, Wesley, and Fred, thank you for listening to AFR. We have been talking about situation in Minnesota, and President Trump is under a lot of pressure right now to withdraw ICE from Minnesota, and we're going to see how that goes, because the mayor yesterday, and said today, but it was yesterday or today, met with Tom Homan, the president's representative, to send him there to talk to the mayor, and the mayor said, The mayor said, we don't care. We're not enforcing any federal immigration laws. So basically told, in my opinion, that was Tom Homan. You can take a hike and go back to D.C. and tell Trump what to do with his plan here. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what Governor Walz said.
They're not going to do anything that would get Trump off the hook.
They've won this.
Trump's in a tough spot.
They know that they've got the upper hand.
Yeah. And they got the upper hand because they created the circumstances for chaos.
Yep. Strategically, it was smart on the left's part. But I'm not judging. I think it's immoral and unethical and everything else. But strategically, it was smart on their part, right?
Yeah, because listen, this is the way all revolutionary movements act. Okay, and the radical left. I will make some distinction here. The radical left, this is a revolution that we're watching unfold, and it began with Bernie Sanders and AOC and all those, and then 2020 with Biden being elected to kind of forestall the socialist takeover of the Democratic Party. But we are watching revolutionary tactics being employed in places like Minnesota, Minneapolis, but other places where you create the chaos that overthrows law and order so that people get desperate enough to take a chance on communism or socialism. And we got a communist mayor in New York City. All right, that doesn't, communist mayor in Seattle. These people are moving towards what they want to see happen, and that is the overthrow of the Constitution. Mm-hmm. And so Frey and Walz in Minneapolis and Minnesota, like you said, Tim, this is not accidental. They created the circumstances for chaos. The American people are backing away because they don't want to see these kind of things happen, and that puts Trump in a very, very difficult spot. The only thing that will stop this over immigration is if and when a terrorist attack or a series of terrorist attacks occur in this country. Now, I'm obviously not hoping for that.
You mean like on a grand scale? Because on
a grand scale where Americans suddenly care, like you said, Tim, they suddenly care about the fact that people have come across this border and that ICE is trying to get them out of the country. That's the only thing that turns this around, I think. Unfortunately, that's the only thing that turns this around for the president.
One thing, let's welcome Jenna Ellis in, and then we'll get to preborn in just a few minutes.
Sure, we can do it after the break.
Okay. Jenna Ellis joins us. Jenna joins us. She's the host of her show in the morning, 7 to 8 o'clock Central Time, right here on American Family Radio, and has talked a lot about this topic as well. Good morning, Jenna.
Good morning, guys. Great to be with you.
All right. You heard what we're talking about here. Give us your take.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think this is a real opportunity for Trump to show leadership like he has on foreign policy. He needs to take control and show leadership on the domestic front. I had Steve Deace on this morning, and we were talking about this, how Trump tends to look through, because he's a populist, he tends to look through the decision-making through the lens, particularly on domestic issues, and especially through the lens of what the poll numbers say and, you know, some of the art of the deal sort of a thing, instead of simply doing just what is right. And we all, regardless of politics and party and all of that, can and should agree that nations have borders, that we enforce our laws, and that we don't stand for people who disrupt or impede law enforcement. I mean, those things aren't hard. And yet there are so many unforced errors that the administration, in my opinion, is making, even to Trump speaking to the press corps and giving the left and Gavin Newsom the opportunity to say that Trump has even lost to the NRA, because of what he's just kind of offhanded remarking about guns. It's the problem that instead of just focusing on doing what's right, they give the left too much to distract with. I mean, we're no longer talking about the Smalley daycare fraud, right? We're just all talking about whether the NRA supports Trump. I mean, it's the leftist tactic that if they control the narrative, they win.
Yeah. I want to talk for just a moment about this fella. Give me his name again. I'm sorry.
Preddy?
The one who passed away.
Preddy?
Yeah, what's his first name?
Is it Alex?
Okay, so because under normal conditions, that is, he wasn't killed by the gunshots, you would be talking, if he were just arrested, the story I think would have been, hey, this guy brought a gun, a loaded gun, to basically a confrontation and started a confrontation with the ICE officers.
Right.
Well,
I don't think we would even know his name.
No, I don't think so. And
Okay.
also, again, being careful with all that. I've seen some posts from people like Dana Loesch, who used to be the spokesperson for the NRA, talking about how as long as he's in a place to lawfully carry, not going into one of these, gun-free zones or something, even if ICE is present, he has a protected right to carry. And so, some of these things are a little bit tricky in terms of the facts.
To me,
but I don't even think it would be a headline.
To me, that's a diversion from the issue. Okay? Yes, he had a right to carry a gun, and we believe in that and support that Second Amendment. I'm saying it's stupid. It's not smart.
Well, right. I would agree with that.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
When he was getting ready to leave his house, he got his gun.
That's right.
And loaded it, right? Is that
Yeah.
okay?
A couple magazines.
Okay. So why is that? What would we do?
I'm not defending. Please don't misunderstand. I'm not defending him, but
okay, go ahead.
I'm saying when I go out, I always have my handgun for protection. So he may have been thinking, well, I'm going to have my gun because that's what I do. I carry to protect myself from criminals. I know the irony
The
there is.
altercation with the firearm is where the problem, where I think it's what you're like, why would you do that,
No. Go ahead. What? Yeah.
Oh, and so I was going to say, I don't know. Now, and again, we don't know what he was thinking, but if he was thinking, I am going to the protest with my gun in case I need it with ICE.
That's right.
That's a whole different thing. But if he was saying, I'm going for my home.
Maybe I'll get carjacked on the way.
Well, that's why I carry my gun.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm saying.
Yeah, but you're not
knowing
attacking officers.
No,
Okay,
I'm not defending him.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to explain why he may have had his handgun.
I got a question for Jenna.
Okay.
Okay. Let me finish that thought, and then okay. So my opinion is okay. I know don't speak ill of the dead. I'm not saying the man was stupid in the sense that he was not a smart guy. Okay. I'm saying it is dumb. It is not smart to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to confront ICE today. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be federal agents. I'm going to go try to harass them, get in their face, film them, call them names, whatever I can do to impede their work today. That's my goal this morning as I leave the apartment or the house. I need my gun.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to carry, because that'd be a good thing to do, right?
I understand.
Carry your gun, a loaded gun, and in case you're confronted, maybe you would need it to shoot the ICE agents.
Yeah.
Because they may be doing something I don't like, or they're attacking me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. That's when you leave your gun at home. Does he have a right to carry it? Yeah, he has a right to carry it. Is it smart in those circumstances? Absolutely not. Go ahead, Jenna. All right, Ed, Westy, you had a question for Jenna?
Yeah, it's on the same. Okay. It's on the same area, but a different topic. Do you believe that what's taking place in Minneapolis with Antifa and the coordinated efforts to just intercept and disrupt and cause all the issues with ICE from protesters, those that are...
They're going to the hotel.
Yeah, those are
where
local,
the ICE agents are staying.
and those that are coming in from other states. Would you consider this a part of an insurrection act? By your opinion?
You mean should Trump invoke it?
Right.
Is that what you're saying? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, whether this rises to the level of a legal definition of insurrection, I think it's getting pretty close for sure. And I think that if he invokes that, that does give him authority to go in and to quell, riots, rebellion, all of that, with or without the governor or the mayor's support. So I think, personally, he should use whatever tools are available. And if some judge later wants to, have that battle because these are all these woke, rogue leftist judges, then call them out on that. I mean, this is clearly something where these agitators are going in like the church in St. Paul, like what we do know about Renee Good, who was there out of state, apparently, using her car as a way to, try to ram into these guys. I mean, these are not isolated incidents. And before it gets even worse, absolutely, he should go in and just say, we are not abiding by this. And if Tim Walz and Jacob Frey won't do their job of being the chief executives in their jurisdictions, then I'll invoke the Insurrection Act, and I will.
One other thing about this, and then there's so many moving parts to this story. Again, we're having to wait too on the investigation of the two. I guess they're saying there were two shooters with the man.
I think so.
Okay, by the Department of Homeland Security, and they have body cam footage. But at what point too do the ICE agents themselves saying we're not doing this? Okay, you're telling us to go into the street and confront people and citizens, and then go try to bust down a door to find a guy who's already left, who's been tipped off. I mean, what you have to wonder in the eyes of these ICE agents and those overcharged. And we're not getting. Well, call the cops. Call the Minneapolis cops. They'll help crowd control. No, they ain't helping you at all. In fact, you got to take them on yourself. These people. So you got to physically confront people while you're trying to do your job. I think that's impossible to do without bad things like this happening.
Yeah.
If that's going to cause the politics of the matter to turn against you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would say,
well, this is where we need
abort. I would say I don't know why they just don't abort the mission and just say let's get out because it's an unworkable. Obviously, Minnesota wants these people here. We want these bad people protected from being deported. So if they want them, let them have them. Go ahead, Jenna.
Well, but their responsibility is to federal law, and so and a lot of these guys, from even just the posts on social media, are very happy to do their job because they have a mission, and I mean it's like in a sense like the U.S. military, and so I totally see your point. But at the same time, this is why leadership matters, and why I think sending Tom Homan in and ensuring that they're not just going to back away and give up and say, well, fine, if Minnesota wants to flout federal law, whatever. I mean, I think that's just waving a white flag, and that's not forcing the terrible leadership of Minnesota to say, listen, either help us or get out of the way.
Yeah, but the terrible I'm not arguing with you, Jenna. I'm saying the terrible leadership of Minnesota, guess what? They were voted on. People are pleased with the work of Walz. A
lot of the Somalis voted for him, and that's the problem.
Well, and also I voted for Trump to get rid of criminals that are here illegally.
Well, Jenna, what do you think Trump should do? What do you think is the right way forward? Let's say you're advising President Trump.
And then we got another issue, right?
Yeah,
Florida.
And so then we'll switch topics here.
Get Fred.
Well, what do you think? What would you tell President Trump to do?
Yeah, interestingly, I was advising President Trump directly when this exact same situation happened with the Chaz. Remember that back in 2020 during the George Floyd riots and all of that. And, obviously without revealing confidential, details there, I think he needs to learn from his mistakes in 2020 of waiting too long to simply go in and quell the rebellion and the riots. And I think he needs to get on the phone with Tim Walz and say, listen, either you get this done in the next 6 hours, or I'm coming in and I will finish it. He needs to have strong leadership and just go in and say the United States does not stand for this, and we won't stand for this. We are going to enforce the law, and that's it. And he needs to show strong leadership and not let this continue to dominate the headlines, because right now it's at a critical point where Americans are looking to see what Trump is going to do. And if he backs down, that is just going to give the left even more leverage to say, okay, look, if he backed down, then we're going to put the next thing up, then the next thing, then the next thing.
All right, Fred, next topic for Jenna.
Well, Jenna's very familiar with this. Florida's Attorney General is going after some nurses down there who don't like Republicans, MAGA Republicans in particular, and they're talking about removing licenses. Jenna's fill us in on that.
Yeah, as they should. And so I'm really glad to see James Ethmeyer stepping up and saying...
What happened here? I don't know. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt, but there may be people who don't even know anything about this story. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, yeah, go ahead, Jenna.
Oh, sure. So you can see this all over social media, but there's also a great story from the New York Post that's talking about how two different Florida nurses, one in particular posted a really vulgar, that I won't repeat, statement on her TikTok, basically hoping that the press secretary, when because she's pregnant right now, when she gives birth, will have complications, and is saying basically that she wouldn't help, and so is wishing harm on Caroline Leavitt. And then another nurse in Florida posted saying that he would not administer anesthesia for procedures for anyone who is MAGA. And so these two posts are basically saying we're identifying people that we politically disagree with, and we are saying under our Florida medical licenses that not only do we wish them harm, but we are unwilling to assist in this exact same procedure we would on anybody else if you are a Republican.
Is that legal?
No. And this is why James Ethmeyer is going. So let's all remember Masterpiece, right? Because Masterpiece Cake Shop was all about the right of a business, and if they're at a location in like the ER or something, or anything that receives state funding, emergency services, that's even more of a heightened question. But in terms of a personal business, like one of these nurses alleged, I run my own business so I can decide what clients I take. Well, what Masterpiece taught us is that if you are open for business, you can't discriminate on the same exact service that you would provide to anybody on the basis of protected class. Now, does politics fall into a protected class? I think actually we need to add that to all of the protections. But in terms of under Florida licensure, saying that you are not going to provide services or you would actually do harm, the licensing board of Florida for these medical practitioners does not allow that.
So this one of these Florida nurse Eric Martindale. He recently wrote, I'm quoting now from the New York Post story, he wrote on Facebook, "I own all my own businesses and I can refuse anyone." So you're saying that is, because I didn't know that you mentioned that politics is not covered in non-discrimination law. You can't say, for example, under current non-discrimination law, I don't treat Jews, I don't treat blacks, I don't treat Christians. All those are clearly illegal. Politics is not in those covered under those laws. So how is it illegal for Martindale, who owns his own business?
What kind of business does he own?
We're not sure about that.
He may be a nurse practitioner. I know they have some of those around here.
So you give people a form, like
no, a nurse
to check their politics. So you give them a form to sign.
Well, before we get off on that, though, I don't think that that necessarily politics isn't covered. For example, if I am a Republican based on my Christian worldview, that can and I believe should fall within the scope of free exercise of religion. It's an outflow of my religious belief, certainly, to be a conservative, and I'm a Republican, right? And so I think that there's an argument to be made that, well, a political affiliation by itself is not necessarily a protected class, because your statements are part of your free exercise of religion. Then that falls under protected class.
Healthcare providers should not be able to deny people services based on any reason.
Oh, I agree.
At all. And so this nurse practitioner, is that what he is?
Well, I'm guessing, since it says he's a nurse and he says he owns all his own businesses.
So what is he's saying? I'm not going to treat MAGA folks.
The quote here is, he will not provide anesthesia to MAGA members undergoing surgery.
And so are you saying, Jenna, the Attorney General of Florida is going after him for that?
Yeah, going after their licenses, and I'm not exactly sure what else. We're trying to actually book him on my show to ask him those questions. But I mean, this is part of a good reason that state licensure requirements are a good thing. I mean, sometimes, like what we're seeing right now in Colorado, for example, that the therapy category, Colorado's trying to prevent Christian therapists from giving good biblically sound advice because it goes against the state's political preferences, right? And that's bad. But here is an example of why a uniform standard in saying, hey, if you want to be licensed to practice medicine, I mean, some of these are life and death decisions that you're contemplating, then you have to be a medical professional.
That's just deranged.
And not discriminate.
It is.
Yeah.
That's deranged. That's the what do you call it? Trump derangement syndrome carried to an extreme, and you would post something like that on the social media,
bragging like,
okay, if you come in and you need your finger sewed back on, you're going to have to show me that you voted Democrat, and then we'll get to you. So
and even worse than that, though, it's not even just TDS. This is why the pro-life issue is fundamental to any other worldview perspective, because the left has consistently said, if you are the unborn, if you are elderly, if you are if you're black, Jewish, all of these other categories, we devalue you in certain circumstances to the point that even the unborn or physician-assisted suicide, you don't deserve life. And so it is simply a manifestation and an outgrowth of his deranged false worldview that what's to say if you can kill an unborn child, why wouldn't he just take that and say, well, if I can kill an unborn child for no reason, why not say that I'm happy to to wish harm on the press secretary because I disagree with her political beliefs. I mean, this is where the left's worldview gets them.
And you posted on X. You have a video on X. I hope a lot of our listeners follow Jenna on X. You posted on that very issue, didn't you?
Yes, and in fact, we're starting to do this series of response videos, not only on X, but also my Instagram, and we are opening a TikTok, yes, because these types of issues, so many young people especially, want to hear the biblical, truthful, rational response to what they're seeing in the media, and if we're not putting those out there and hopefully driving them back to listen to our programs, but if we're not engaging them on those platforms and saying, here's how you respond to this, here's why it's wrong, like why Leviticus isn't supporting a position for open borders like we're seeing all over TikTok right now. We did a video on that. Then nobody is reaching them. And so we're going to start doing that. And I hope that everyone will follow my X account at Real Jenna Ellis, and then Jenna Ellis Media are the others.
Do you have to dance while you're doing the TikTok messages? Or, I mean,
that remains to be seen. I'll get guidance from our social media.
Well, I think we can rest assured that Jenna will not have any cats on her videos because she is clearly a dog person.
Yeah. Amen to that. Which means I'm rational. Obviously.
That's right. So what is your what is the account again for the?
So for X is Real Jenna Ellis, and then for the rest, we are and TikTok I think is going to be the same, but Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok is Jenna Ellis Media.
Okay.
So please go follow us there, and then you can share the videos, send them to your kids, grandkids, so they can share with their friends. We want to get really good, solid biblical truth.
Yeah, and that is a great idea to try to reach the younger generation, and you know these social media sites are where they are.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jenna. Take care. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
We don't have time. When we get back, you're going to talk about. We're so excited about our preborn numbers.
Yep.
We're rocking it, people.
Yeah, over 3,500, and our goal is 5,000, and we got till Friday.
The ultrasounds that our listeners have provided to save unborn babies' lives in the last 10 days or so has been awesome.
Yes.
And we're going to get more information when we come back from the break.
Yeah, so thank you, everybody who's made a contribution. And by the 100% of this money donated goes to preborn and the ultrasounds. AFA, AFR, we don't take a penny of it. We're just passing it on, passing it through. All right, we shall return momentarily. Fred, I'm so sorry you got cut out of the last half hour.
Last 45 minutes.
All right, we'll be back. Steve Paisley, Jordan will be on in a minute.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
Getting married, starting a family, their eternal values and ideals. These are core values that shaped this country for so long. These are values and ideals that are rooted in Scripture. They're eternal values and ideals.
At the Core with Walker Wildmon and Rick Green, where culture meets biblical truth. Weekdays at 1 Central on AFR. This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. President Trump is threatening military strikes against Iran. Jared Halpern has more from the White House.
Warning of a massive armada heading to Iran. President Trump says hopefully Iran will quickly come to the table and negotiate a fair and equitable deal, adding no nuclear weapons. The threat, posted on his social media account, says like Venezuela, the U.S. military is ready, willing, and able to rapidly fulfill its mission with speed and violence. Iran's mission to the United Nations responds, Iran stands ready for dialogue based on mutual respect and interest, but if pushed, will defend itself and respond like never before. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Millions across the U.S. are still shoveling out in the aftermath of a major winter storm that swept across a large stretch of the country, impacting travel in the air and on the roads. Brooke Taylor has more from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says that he is hoping that those flight schedules are going to get back to normal, but we're still going to see those disruptions until next week. We're seeing improvements, though, gradually when it comes to those cancellations and delays. So far, we are seeing 800 cancellations, 1,200 delays, and airports having the most issues, DFW right here, LaGuardia, and DCA. On Tuesday, there were more than 6,400 flight cancellations for the day and nearly 2,700 delays. That is a major improvement, though, since the weekend.
This comes as another storm could hit parts of the East Coast this weekend. And Robert Thornton tells us even more Arctic air is on the way.
At the very least, very cold air will be the main issue for many. However, some places could see winter precipitation along the southeast U.S. coastline and along the East Coast. there has been some uncertainty about the system's formation. ABC 3340's James Spann says it will be cold in the South and Alabama.
The big deal is the new surge of cold air. Now, as that thing makes the turn, goes up the East Coast, a surface low begins to deepen off the coast of North Carolina, off the Outer Banks, and that could bring some decent snow to eastern North Carolina and the Tidewater region of Virginia on Saturday. Temperatures below freezing all day, pretty much statewide. I mean, even Mobile, they're going to struggle to reach the mid-30s. North Alabama, highs in the mid-20s, maybe low 20s for the Tennessee Valley. Those are highs on Saturday after starting off the day in the teens.
Overnight low temperatures for many places in the Midwest to the Northeast are forecast to continue to be below zero over the weekend, according to the National Weather Service. Fox Weather says New York, Philadelphia, and Boston could be on track to see another major system on the heels of the last. The National Weather Service says to expect well below normal temperatures for the eastern U.S. into the middle of next week. I'm Robert Thornton.
The Treasury Department hosting a star-studded event today to help launch the new Trump Accounts initiative, which gives eligible newborns an investment account with $1,000 in seed money.
And what gives them, it's more money than anybody could imagine. From their standpoint, they'll have a real start in life, and that's why decades from now, I believe the Trump accounts will be remembered as one of the most transformative policy innovations of all time. And I've done a lot of them. The tax cuts, we've done a lot of them, more than I think anybody. And
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the new program will promote wealth building.
This is a new kind of philanthropy, and it is bringing the stock market, it is democratizing the stock market, it is bringing it to everyone in America.
And the Federal Reserve will be announcing its decision on interest rates today.
After 3 consecutive cuts, central bankers are widely expected to leave the benchmark lending rate unchanged at 3.5 to 3.75%. However, the focus will be on the Fed's policy statement and Chair Jerome Powell's post-meeting press conference for clues on the path ahead. It will be Powell's first commentary since he revealed that the Justice Department is investigating him. The big question is, when will the Fed start lowering rates again, which could depend on a faltering job market or inflation that resumes falling towards the Fed's 2% goal. Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
For American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Wildmon, president of American Family Association and American Family Radio. Hey, the tours we've got planned in 2026 are going to be fantastic. They're historical, spiritual, heritage tours. For the information all about them, the D.C., the Williamsburg, the Boston tours, go to wildmongroup.com, WILDMON group.com, and we hope to see you on one of our 2026 Spiritual Heritage Tours.
Today's Issues continues on AFR with your host, Tim Wildmon, president of the American Family Association.
Welcome back to today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Thanks for listening to AFR. Appreciate it very much. Today's Issues, the name of the show. We do have a podcast available, as all of our shows are podcasts. Just go to afr.net, click on podcast, and you can listen, to our show or any other show anytime you want to. Just download the podcast. Wesley Wildmon in with me, Ed Battagliano, and now Steve Paisley Jordahl joins us.
Good morning, everybody.
So, Wesley, I mentioned before the break, we got great numbers on our campaign to support Preborn, which is a pro-life organization offering free ultrasounds to young ladies who are pregnant, right?
That's right, and all the way through the end of the week, we're asking you to continue to partner with us if you have not already. Maybe you wanted to and you just forgot and got busy. But we're asking you to partner with us in helping reach our goal of 5,000 free ultrasounds, which is potentially 5,000 babies that could be saved from being aborted. And so we're asking you to partner us by calling 877-616-2396 or go to afr.net. And I'll give that number and website one more time in just a second, but wanted to answer a few questions that you may have. And that's that a gift of $28 provides one free ultrasound. $140 provides 5 free ultrasounds, and so potentially 5 messages of life there. And so that, again, that's $28 provides 1 free ultrasound, $140 provides 5 free ultrasounds, and you can donate at 877-616-2396 or go to afr.net and help us. Our campaign and our partnership, our promotion ends Friday. This Friday, January the 30th. So if you could help us reach our goal of 5,000, just to give you some more numbers of where we are, we're at 3,592 as of early this morning. So probably over 3,600 now, trying to get to 5,000 by Friday. So please call in and help us with that.
All right. Well, thank you for that report, and we are all excited that we're
Absolutely
over 3,500, almost to our 5,000.
Yeah, and I believe that's one reason why one of 3 reasons God continues to sustain the ministry of AFR. We're over 40 years. The AFA is coming up on 50 years. And so the reason, well, I don't know, AFR is not at 40 years. AFA
1991 is when our first radio station went on the air.
AFA is coming up on 50 years. And so I think one of the reasons God has sustained us is because we share our platform with people who are doing uniquely different ministry than we're doing. And so for be able to partner with Preborn to do the work that they're doing.
We're just raising money for them because we're a pro-life group. We're not, you were just going to write them a check, so to speak, on behalf of AFR listeners. And here, go use this to save babies. That's all we're doing. We're not, there's no overhead. There's no, Ed's not getting a commission off this or anything like that.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
All right, Steve, what do you got?
Well, first of all, I'm a little disappointed that after Friday we're no longer going to be partnering with these people because I think they're good people. I think we should stick with them.
We're good.
Let's stick
we're
with
just ending our we're ending our campaign Friday. We'll be doing this every year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we partner with them all year long.
There you go.
Yeah.
Take
that, Steve. Take that.
But he is in the media, so words matter.
That's right.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about this too. Words matter. So we've been talking about ICE agents and the attacks that they're under. It's no longer just the radicals. Now it's the establishment Democrat politicians that are threatening violence. I just came across this. This is a Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner was at an anti-ICE speech. I believe it was this morning. And if I was an ICE agent
in Minnesota,
no, Philadelphia.
Okay,
Pennsylvania. If I was an ICE agent, man, I tell you, this got to be sending chills down your spine. Cut 15.
This is a small bunch of wannabe Nazis. That's what they are. In a country of 350 million, we outnumber them. If we have to hunt you down the way they hunted down Nazis for decades, we will find your identities. We will find you. We will achieve justice.
Who's that?
That's Philadelphia DA Larry Krasner.
Wow. So he's a district attorney?
He is the district attorney in Philadelphia.
Let me tell you something. If Democrats here in the near future control the White House and both houses of Congress, I have no doubt they will
do exactly what he said.
They will do exactly what he just said. They will be obviously in control of ICE. They will find out the names of everyone at ICE, every city they went to, everyone who is involved in Minneapolis or in Seattle or whatever. And I take this man at his word. They will try to go after, and listen, I think they'll go after Trump. They'll go after Republicans. There is a percentage of the Democratic Party that I think is increasingly in charge that are radicals, and they call people Nazis, but they're the ones acting like the Gestapo.
Well, if I was a protester in Minneapolis and I heard that, all of a sudden I can bring a gun with me to the protest, and I'm doing them a favor. If I'm gonna, it's permission to strike and to for the violence. Another Attorney General candidate, I played this a little bit for you guys this morning at a story meeting. His name is Elliot Forhan. He is a candidate to be Attorney General in Ohio. And this is what he has to say to Donald Trump. Cut 13.
This is Elliot Forehand, candidate for Ohio Attorney General. I want to tell you what I mean when I say that I am going to kill Donald Trump. I mean, I'm going to obtain a conviction rendered by a jury of his peers at a standard of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, based on evidence presented at a trial conducted in accordance with the requirements of due process, resulting in a sentence duly executed of capital punishment. That is what I mean when I say that I am going to kill Donald Trump.
For what?
Well,
Doesn't matter.
Isn't he going to be arrested at some point?
Jaywalking or? Oh no, he was careful to couch it in terms of saying, I am going to go through the legal channels to get Trump convicted. Again, to Tim's point, we don't know what. Capital, you can't just call for a death penalty for whatever you want. There are certain crimes, categories of crimes that you have to have committed.
I misunderstood that. I'm sorry. I thought he was threatening to kill Donald Trump.
No, that's why he said
kill metaphorically.
No. He literally wants Donald Trump strapped to the electric chair.
Well, that's true. Kill him in a legal way.
Yes.
Have him convicted of something that has the death penalty attached to it. That's what he's talking about.
And he's promising to do it, which is bizarre. This is the same thing with, prosecutions that Trump went through in New York. I promise you I'm going to get him convicted if you elect me.
All right.
And without knowing the facts of the case. So this guy hasn't even said what he's going to have him convicted on.
Well, find the crime. You give me the
person, I'll find you the crime.
Do we have the clip still from yesterday where that podcaster, that lefty, talked about evangelical Christians?
Yeah. Welsh. Was her name Welsh?
I want to play this because it fits right in with what we're talking about. I'm asking Brent Creeley, our producer, if he can find that. He played it yesterday.
I left them all.
And while he's looking for that, this person that's Ohio running for Attorney General,
yes,
is this person is Ohio in danger of this person being elected?
I haven't seen the polls. I'll look that up for you.
Okay.
I doubt it because Ohio's become a red state now.
Yeah.
All right. So along the lines with what Steve has just played, the clips from two different Democrat officials. Well, the one that's not elected, that last one was a candidate. And then we go back to last half hour when we were playing clips from some nurses in Florida saying they wouldn't treat MAGA folks who needed anesthesia or needed help medically. There is a idea that is in the radical left on who the problem is in this country. Well, yes, President Trump is the point man for their hatred, but really, they want to get rid of a particular group of people by either canceling them, debanking them, or in some cases, or don't treat them at the hospital, or in some cases, shutting down their businesses, like we saw in Colorado with the Christian baker who said, I'm not going to provide a cake.
Jack Phillips.
I'm not going to make a cake for a gay wedding. It's against my religious beliefs. And they went after him. The state of Colorado did. Now, he won his case. But
it's necessary to add this part to that. Also, keep in mind, while also they had multiple other places they could have got their cake baked.
They just wanted to force him to bend the knee. But what I'm saying is there is a sentiment among the radical left in this country that there is a group of people that in particular are to blame, that deserve persecution. And what we played yesterday was a clip from a left-wing podcaster who's very popular. What's her name?
Well, her last name's Welch.
Jennifer Welch.
There you go.
You said, Steve, yesterday that she's the left's answer answer to Joe Rogan.
That's right.
And Joe Rogan's not a conservative. He's an independent, okay? He has conservative thoughts on some things, but
he's just been fair and balanced.
But this woman, we're about to hear, she has a popular, would that be fair to say, popular podcast?
It's a little bit astroturfed. I mean, she's not as popular as Joe Rogan, but they want to make her out to be.
No, but if you're even half as popular as Joe Rogan, that's an
one in the world. So yeah,
she's an enormous. That's an enormous audience. I mean, an influencer. But anyway, so this is what she said on her podcast.
This is a cancer. White evangelical Christianity is a cancer. These are the worst of our country. These are the worst people in our country because they use their religion in two ways, as a weapon and as a shield. They weaponize it whenever they want to and say, we're on the moral high ground. You're a lesbian. You deserve to die. You're a lesbian. The cops shouldn't have revived you. Oh, your parents are Mexicans and they brought you over here. Yeah, you should go to jail and eat worm food. And then when you call them out on it, they're after the Christians. How dare they? How dare they? We're so oppressed. White Christians are so oppressed in this country. And they want it both ways because in the religion, that duplicity is taught. You can be morally duplicitous. You thrive in cognitive dissonance. And so this is just a massive, massive problem. And it should come as no surprise to anyone that of this cult that I'm talking about, white evangelicals, I think over 80% went and voted triple Trump.
By the way, triple Trump's a cake.
Yeah, well,
so I don't know. How do you vote for a cake?
I do. I vote for cake every day. I would have it.
Anyway.
So I guess that means 2016, 2020, and 2024 is triple Trump. That's the first time I've ever heard that. Am I way behind, guys?
Listen, what she's saying, what she's spewing there.
It's spewing too.
Okay. That is, you talk about massive disinformation, just outright lies.
Absolutely.
I don't listen. Whites or evangelicals or Christians or whatever. Nobody's beyond criticism if they say things or have or take actions that are immoral or wrong or.
But it's the problem is it's not the position.
No. She's. By the way, why does she insist on saying white evangelical Christians? Because I know a lot of black evangelical Christians. I know a lot of Hispanic evangelical.
They're just as conservative.
I know a lot of Asian. So why is she saying just white?
You can't talk bad about black people. That's racist.
You can't say anything bad about minorities. She's talking about being duplicitous and having your cake and eat it too, since you're talking about cake.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she can say that white evangelical Christianity is a cancer because of what people believe about, for example, she was talking about homosexuality, but she won't say that black, Latino, like you said, Asian, other groups who are also evangelical believe the same thing because we're all reading the same Bible.
Yeah, so I don't know why she decided to go again, just single out white.
Because she's a blatherskite. She is talking foolishness. And she is obviously. Listen, I saw several comments under one of the articles where I went to see exactly.
What's her name again?
Jennifer Welsh.
Okay.
And listen, the Christians in the comments were saying it's clear that this woman has been hurt. We need to pray for her. Now, I'm saying the way Christians are responding is totally against her portrait of them.
That's right.
Well, she says we're the worst of the worst.
Well, we're cancer.
By the way, we're not throwing gay people off of buildings, by the way.
Yes.
No, but she said no. She throws.
Some religions are.
Yes.
Exactly.
But she throws these things out that are outrageous. And listen, I've been a white evangelical Christian for a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Like to apologize.
What? No, I don't know. I don't know anybody.
That believes that.
I don't know anybody, never even heard that before.
Right.
The things she's talking about, which she says she assigns motives to Christians that we want to. What'd she say? Lesbians deserve death?
Yes. And if
who's ever said that? I don't know anybody.
They should be revived if they're dying.
Yeah.
Stuff, yeah.
And Mexicans
said that.
She said, you're a Mexican, you deserve to eat worm food.
Be put in prison if you're illegal and eat worm food.
You know what? white evangelicals do more feeding of Hispanic people in Central America than any other group.
Than atheist groups, I'll tell you that.
And in
'Cause
prisons,
she's an
by the way.
atheist. Huh?
I know.
And
so
in prison,
yeah.
by the way. The
So if
ministry.
we want Mexicans to eat worm food, by the way, I don't know what a Mexican evangelical does. They can't feed themselves worms, can they? I mean, that's just a question I have here. If you're a Mexican evangelical,
yeah,
she would say, because she said that we white evangelicals, the cancer,
yeah,
we want that our attitude is if you're a Mexican, that you should have to eat worm
in
worm,
prison.
worm- in prison, eat jail worm food. I'm saying
this is one of those deals where you say, "I'll take things that never happened for $400." Alex.
I know. But while we're laughing about this, she's permeating a lot of pop culture out there.
Yeah.
She's influencing a lot of people's minds to have a bias against Christians, especially white evangelical Christians, as she says it, which could in the future if Democrats take control of everything.
Yeah.
And I'm not by any means saying all Democrats would be in favor of persecuting, quote, white evangelical Christians. I'm just saying that attitude that we are the problem with America progressing, we are the cancer that keeps us from moving forward in human history. There could be laws, there could be more persecution, genuine persecution coming our way because of this.
I want to go on the record of predicting that is exactly what's going to happen.
Well, thank you.
Listen, I think God is dealing with America.
Yeah.
And you talked about earlier about Americans being soft because they're willing to turn a blind eye to God's moral laws. I think we are going to have a political turn, and we are going to see the nastiness and the bloodlust of communism and Islam in this country before this country turns completely away from those two things. I think Christians are going to be on the receiving end, and conservatives too in general. I think we will be on the receiving end before this gets better. I do also think that God is going to turn this nation around, but I think it's going to be through hardship first, and then God is going to do his.
And on that encouraging note, we shall take. No, I mean
these people will be in charge at some point. These kinds of people will be in charge.
Okay, let me push back a little bit.
You go right ahead, man.
I hear what you're saying, and that certainly would.
I need some Joel Osteen, Wesley. I'm telling you, it just brought me down.
If it follows the way you just said, I wouldn't be surprised. On the other hand, that stuff, meaning that type of talking, worked a lot better when we first started this about 20 years ago before they got Obergefell and other things like that. At this point, I'm not seeing as many people that actually will empathize or sympathize with her position that's not already on the far left. The moderate people are not they're not persuaded by that type of stuff, and here's why. Because we've had, what is it, almost 20 years or half 20 years of Obergefell.
Yeah, it's 2015.
Yeah. So, and you're not looking around, and in fact, it's the other way around. They're trying to force Jack Phillips or the coach to
2015 is 10 years.
Yeah. Sorry, that again. So it's 10 years.
2015 is 11
okay,
years
so it's
ago.
been 10 years, going on 11 years, and you're not getting in the last 10 years. You're not getting a swarm of Christians doing anything remotely like she's saying. In fact, it's the other way around. The Christians are being persecuted in a lot of ways. I guess I'm saying the evidence is not there for her claims, so to speak, if that makes sense.
I wish she would offer one example.
That's what I'm saying. There's not one, and she doesn't have
what
any.
she's talking about.
But these kind of people don't need examples. Hey, listen, I appreciate that, and I think there are signs that people are turning away from woke and those kind of things. But look at Virginia. I'm just to say, watch what happens in Virginia over the next 4 years with a new Democrat governor, Democrat control of that legislature. Day one, they flipped the table and started implementing all kinds of Democratic dream Same thing with Mamdani in New York City. So I'm willing to say let's wait and see once they get back in power in the Trump and post-Trump era. Because
I don't think they're going to get back in power for a while.
All right.
That's
well,
just
listen, I hope not, because these are bad people that we're talking about.
Your
you
blue
got nurses. I'm looking at a New York Post story right here. This other nurse said she was advocating that that nurses fill syringes with poison, paralytic meds. Now she was
She'll
fired.
be fired.
She was fired. She's already fired. But I'm just saying, these people who believe like that, they are deranged.
Mm-hmm.
They're deranged. It's beyond Trump derangement syndrome. They're just flat out nuts.
I guess what I'm saying is there's just not enough evidence for the white evangelical Christians to be as bad as she says they are, for her hyperbole to make an impact on people's thinking.
I hope that's true. I also want to just point out here, Steve, that, and I know the NFL's not all that important for a lot of people, okay? But here's the kind of craziness we're dealing with. Bill Belichick?
Yeah.
This story. Tell this story
Bill
here.
Belichick is not going to be in the Hall of Fame. His first year of eligibility, he was informed that he did not meet the threshold to make the Hall of Fame.
He won how many Super Bowls? 5?
Well, it's five.
Eight-time Super Bowl winning head coach.
With the Giants.
Yeah.
He was as an assistant coach with the Giants.
Okay. Not, as a head coach, though.
5. I think.
Okay, I'm looking at 8-time Super Bowl winning head coach. Okay, this is from Patrick Mahomes. Okay, Chiefs quarterback. Okay, he says insane. Don't even understand how this could be possible. Even NFL players are going, how is Bill Belichick?
Must be something we don't know. He must have, maybe he ticked off a lot of the voters somewhere.
He's a friend of Trump. That's what I think.
It's political.
I think he's a friend of Donald Trump. He made that clear for years, and I think they're punishing him. That's what I think.
That would be the only explanation. But so you're telling me a Hall of Fame should be based strictly on your.
Absolutely.
And they would be holding this politics against him?
I don't know what else it could be.
We'll find out. Will you do some investigative reporting, Ed?
I'm gonna delegate that to Steve.
Steve, do some investigative.
I'm on it.
All right. Our thanks to you all for listening to the show today. We appreciate it very much. And we hope that you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow.